Good afternoon, I'm Gabriel McDonald of UAPB-TV, and with me today is CNN anchor and award-winning journalist Fredricka Whitfield. Mrs. Whitfield, thank you for joining us today.
Good to see you, Gabriel. Thank you.
Okay. Now everybody has that moment in life where they truly find out what they want to do. At what point in your life did you know you wanted to become a journalist?
Ooh, I love that. Okay, well there are a few phases of when I knew. I was born overseas in Nairobi, Kenya, and I had the great honor of being exposed to a number of foreign correspondents working for the Voice of America while overseas. And so these were family friends that we interacted with, and I loved their stories of just being all around the world and doing things and covering stories and being great storytellers. But then fast forward, I was in high school and just having a very casual conversation with my brother about what do you want to be when you grow up, that type of thing. And we, tossed around a few ideas. I love animals, and I really thought about being a veterinarian. And then my brother was like, you know what? I'm really surprised to hear that because you're always writing. You've been writing and writing and writing for such a long time, and you're always talking, and you're telling stories, and you're talking about, your ideas about traveling the world. It seems to me that you would want to be a journalist. I'm like, I have been thinking about that. So anyway, I put the ball in motion when in high school to really explore if being a journalist is what I wanted to be. And I picked up the phone and I called a number of radio, television, newspaper outlets in the Washington, D.C. area, which was now home during my high school years. And among all of the phone calls, there was one public radio station that said, yes, we'd love to have you. If you can make yourself downtown to be an intern, we would love for you to be here. And that really got the spark solidified, and that was it for me. I wanted to be a journalist, and that's why I ended up majoring in journalism when I attended Howard University.
Okay. And you said you are a proud Howard University graduate. What advice and tips do you have for young African-American students who have aspirations of going into the journalism field?
Start as soon as you can. If you are in high school, I hope you're reading newspapers every day, you're watching and listening to all news broadcasts, trying to learn from people who you can admire from afar. Once you're in college, same thing, except you need to take it a bit further. Perhaps you can get an internship, not just one, but try and do as many as you can without sacrificing your studies, because the objective is you want to graduate from college with your degree, having gotten through your curriculum. But figure out a way to incorporate your internships as part of your curriculum, because the whole idea is to learn as much as you can. Right. Journalism is really a practicum kind of experience, vocation. You only get better by doing. Right. And it's wonderful to be complimented in the classrooms with this textbook instruction, but you have to get your hands dirty. You've got to get into it. You've got to understand what it is to conceptualize, picture, word association, a beginning, middle, and an end to your storytelling. So I think it's really important, no matter what, to have the passion and the interest and the curiosity, and follow up on that by applying those skills as best you can right away. And I hope you're not motivated by money as being the incentive in an internship, but the experience is invaluable. So the more you can do, the more prepared you can make yourself, the better you are positioning yourself for a career in journalism.
Your illustrious career has taken you all across the country with stops in cities such as Dallas and Miami, among others. What has that career journey been like for you and your family?
Oh, it's been fantastic because you learn something different no matter where you go. And the beautiful thing about whether I was in my first job in Charleston, South Carolina, Dallas, Texas, New Haven, Connecticut, I had the great opportunity to return to Washington, D.C., and then Miami, Florida. All of those places except for the Washington, D.C. area were unfamiliar territories for me. And that really gets the creative juices going, as a journalist, because you have to be willing to leave your comfort zone all of the time. And when you go to unfamiliar places, you are meeting unfamiliar people. Just by basic virtue of curiosity, that's going to help inspire a lot of questions, and it makes you your best by leaving your comfort zone. So I think dotting the map as I have done has only made me a better journalist, and it means I continue to be very thirsty and hungry, to go to unfamiliar places and tap into new stories and meet people that I wouldn't ordinarily in a place, of course, go to places I wouldn't ordinarily go had I not been in this great career choice of journalism.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And you've had the privilege to cover major events such as Hurricane Katrina, also President Obama's first inauguration, and the Gulf oil spill in 2010. Describe how that felt to cover events of such high magnitude.
Well, I think that has certainly been the aspiration that when I first embarked on being a journalist, I knew and couldn't wait to be able to cover stories of national and international importance. And to get there, I also knew it meant readiness, to be prepared. And it's been wonderful to be able to work and start out in smaller markets, because they were forgiving markets where you can make mistakes, and the mistakes is what makes you better. It builds character, so that when you do get to a bigger stage, you're ready for the magnitude of those bigger stages. But I like to believe that even though I've been doing this for a few years now, I hope that there are still things that I can learn. There are new challenges that I'll embark upon that will still make me even better.
Okay. And also, your work has definitely not gone unnoticed. You've won the 2005 George Peabody Award for your coverage of Katrina and the 2008 NAMD Communicator of the Year Award. How does it feel to know that your hard work has finally paid off?
Well, it's wonderful to have those accolades and be recognized for doing hard work, good work, and storytelling, but it's not the incentive for me. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it, I do. I just want every story, every assignment, every interview that I do to be its best that I can pull out. I hope to be most prepared and best prepared for everything I embark on. But I also hope that whatever the last bit of work that I did, the last thing that reflects my work and my capacity, is going to be bested by the next thing that I do. So I always want to grow, learn, and be better. I just haven't had that feeling where I feel like I'm finished. I feel like I'm still really in the midst of the journey. I haven't gotten there yet, but I've been really enjoying being in the company of a lot of wonderful, great journalists that I've admired from afar, and now I get a chance to work alongside many of them too. But I look forward to the next chapter and the chapter after that, so that I can only get better all the time.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
You feel it from the moment you enter our campus. It's a legacy of greatness. We are the Golden Lion family, committed to innovation and truth. We all come from different places, but now call the Pride Lands home. Whether it's the sciences, arts, or business, we're shaping the minds that one day will reshape the world. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Become a part of the Pride.
All right, welcome back. We're here still with Fredricka Whitfield. Now, being a news reporter is not an easy task. Describe your typical day on the job.
Oh gosh. Well, there's no typical day, and that's what I love the most. Quite frankly, it's different every day. Sometimes you can go in having prepared for an assignment that you have or an interview that you have, and you've poured yourself into it all night reading, etc., preparing, and then everything changes on a dime, and now the focus is something else. Or the direction is you're getting on a plane and you're going somewhere completely opposite of what you've just prepared for. So quite frankly, that's one of the things that I love the most about it, because you're constantly on your toes. You're having to constantly read up on not just the one interview that you have right in front of you, but it's important to be well read on just about everything. And then be versatile and adaptive to just turn on a dime and go. I mean, there was a time, particularly when I was a correspondent for NBC News, we would keep with us what we call a crash bag.
That's right.
And you might come in that day thinking that you're getting ready to do a story that's going to take you to Philadelphia, but then something happens, and now next thing you know, you're on the plane, or in the car going to Birmingham, Alabama. So you have to be adaptive, and there has to be a certain willingness, an openness to say, okay, I'm okay if my day is just now turned upside down. But that's the fun part about it.
Now, back in 2015, you had to deal with some controversy as you called the gunman in the Dallas police shooting brave and courageous before eventually apologizing. How did you manage to keep your composure during that situation?
Well, it's a great question, because at the moment, it was very fluid. Things were happening at the time, just on a dime. And only upon reflection, when I learned from people who were very much offended, by the language, did I think to myself, well, gosh, my intention was really to talk about how things are happening, and no one can explain this person's actions except for that person. The word choice was not the word choice that many people would have preferred, and so they were very upset about it. So how do you maintain your composure? Well, I know from the spirit in which that came. There was no intention to be, offensive, nor at the same time was there an intention to celebrate anyone. It was a tragedy all the way around. And because I'm a professional, and what we do is we handle things as they happen and they're unfolding all the time, you want your viewers to know, that your intentions are good. So it merited an apology, and I gave that apology. And then your hope is that your track record speaks for itself, and that people will understand that, she is committed to the job of being a journalist, and will expect more from her in terms of being accurate, being honest, and being forthright.
Okay. Now, CNN is not one of President Trump's favorite news outlets. Does it affect the work of you and your colleagues? And if so, how?
Give me the question again.
CNN is not one of President Trump's favorite news outlets, and I was wondering, does it affect the work of you and your colleagues?
Well, no, because I don't think we're, as a network and as journalists, you're not in the business of being popular. You're in the business of bringing the truth, uncovering the truth, asking the questions. And I think we, as a network and as individuals, journalists, are doing that really well. If it means that we're not popular to someone, including the president, because it means that we are digging, that we are pressing for information, then that's too bad, for the president or for those who feel like that we should not be probing. But it's a commitment that you make as a journalist to be probing, to be honest, and to be fair. And I think we're upholding that commitment as individuals and as a network.
That's right. And lastly, as an anchor and reporter, what do you enjoy most about what you do?
Oh, I love that we are challenged with new things, new ideas, new innovations, managing what it is, the great responsibility of passing on and presenting information. I love talking to people. I love interviewing people. I love discovering. I love that, every day is different. And I learn something every day about the world we live in, about the profession, about how adaptive one has to be, particularly in this profession. And I learn a lot about myself too, in being on this path. So it's all the way around great for me. I mean, I've enjoyed it, and I'm so happy that this is the decision I made. This is the career choice and commitment that I made, because I'm as excited about it today as I was when I started out in the business long ago.
Okay. Again, Mrs. Whitfield, I thank you for coming out to UAPB for our Mass Communications Month.
Thank you, Gabriel.
For UAPB-TV, I'm Gabriel McDonald, and y'all have a great day.